Hello everyone, my name is Adonis Turner of Rebirth Fitness, and today what I have behind me is the Calaburrito +5 method, which is coined by my friend back home who decided to name his program that. Shout out to Nick Calabrese. He deadlifts 635, and my deadlift is still slacking at 500. I deadlifted 485 beltless in April, and from April to now I've only improved 15 pounds, which is unacceptable to me. So I want to keep my deadlift going and progressing like my bench and squat, or my bench is going to be heavier than my deadlift, and that's a problem. So long story short, I'm gonna go over the program in detail, and since I only deadlift every 2 weeks, I'm really short on deadlift workouts, so these need to be effective, and these should be effective due to the volume and the intensity. But let's get looking at his program and see what's into it. For the Calaburrito +5 method, your goal is to increase 5% each set up until trying to tie your 1 rep max and starting at a PR and going forward after that. Let me explain. 85% doubles is the first week. For me, it was 425 pounds. I wrote it down about him right here. The goal was to hit 10 doubles, but do not go past 10 doubles so you have energy for the accessory work. Basically, you have 5 minutes in between each set, and you are able to focus on each individual set as opposed to just rushing through it and just doing 10 sets of 2 or 5x6 where you're not focusing on ripping the bar from the floor. It's kind of like heavy speed work, if you will, so you can work on going as fast as possible, because you will get the energy back from resting 5 to 7 minutes depending on how much rest you actually need. You do the same thing. I have 90% singles actually in roughly 8 days, which is a week after I squat 500 tomorrow. That'll be 450 pounds. The goal is to also hit 10, and don't go any more than that. So again, you have energy for accessory work. The goal for week 3 is to hit between 7 and 10. My goal is 10, but if I can hit 7, I would be happy with that as well, because it's 475 pounds, which is only 25 pounds under my max. For week 4, you're going to try to tie your PR. The benefit of tying your PR here is it gives you the confidence to realize that you did 4 heavy sets before, hitting for me 500. So when you know that if you were to try for it fresh, that bar is going to go up pretty quickly because you're going to be fresh and not exhausted from the previous heavy work. You increase 5 pounds each set until you get to 500. Week 5, you do +5 starting at 505. You start at a PR and you keep going forward. So essentially for me, you start at 5 pounds over 100%, which is the purpose of week 5, and then you just keep going until failure. What I have after that to work on my meet preparation is to do first lift singles. That's for first lift, I'm going to copy this to where I'm doing doubles maybe, or singles, doubles or singles, depending on how heavy it is. But most likely I'm gonna do singles just to work on my speed of my first lift, because that's what I'm going to do for the meet essentially. And then I'm gonna do this exact same thing for second lift singles. I'll make a video after that to illustrate my goals for the meet and goals for these 2 particular lifts. It just depends on how this program goes. If after this program I'm deadlifting 600, then I would have a 540 first lift and 570 second lift, but that's ambitious thinking. So my goal for this program, I would say 525 and 520, I'd be satisfied. So essentially my goal, my first lift singles would be 450, and then this would be around 480 or 485 roughly. So those are rough estimates. But we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how the program goes. I'll give updates week to week, what are the benefits and what are the downfalls of the program. But after week 1, I feel good about the program. For accessory work, I'm going to try to improve both of those, a combined 100 to 155 pounds. Right now, my deficit deadlift, I was holding 5 sets of 5 at 335 pounds. And then my Romanian deadlift, stiff-legged deadlift, I was holding 5 sets of 5 at 285 pounds. They weren't struggling, they weren't a struggle, but I do want to work on form and make sure my form is correct before I progress in heavy weight. So if you watch the previous video, you'll realize that they weren't slow by any means. So next week I'll probably do like 355 or 360 for deficits, and probably 305, between 305 and 315 for a stiff-legged deadlift. It just depends, and we'll just see how it goes. The goal for this program for me specifically is to get stronger in every area of my deadlift because it's been weak for so long. Since this is 20 set workouts, which is 12 to 14 more than what I was doing before, and which is probably why my deadlift was suffering. When I got to 485 and from working out from January to April, I was doing 20 sets of workout. And then with my Osgood-Schlatter disorder, my knee started hurting and I stopped doing as much volume for my deadlift. And then when my knee wasn't hurting anymore, I was only doing 6 to 8 sets of workout, which isn't enough to improve your deadlift and be serious if you're a serious deadlifter. So for me, I'm going back to basically my old roots of doing 20 sets of deadlifting per workout, and I'm going to get enough recovery in between each workout, because another thing that was bothering my workouts is I would deadlift at 7 p.m. at night and I'd be exhausted from the previous day. So what works for me in my schedule, because I do so much in a particular day, is deadlifting and squatting, like alternating them every 2 weeks because they're so demanding because I do so much volume. And that also, allowing that recovery prevents hip injuries or knee injuries because you're not beating yourself up 3 times a week. I hear people squat 3 times a week and then they have hip problems. I don't have any hip problems because I allow my body to recover and rejuvenate. So that also ties to this program, and that explains why I have so little workouts to go. This is only 15 to 16 hours of workouts for deadlift until my meet. So I need to take these seriously and make sure these all go well so I can perform well in my meet, where I'm trying to get 530, 535 roughly for my deadlift, which is an ambitious goal, but that I want this to recover what I've lost over time. So with that being said, that's the program. I hope it works. I feel it working. It's getting back to my 20 sets of workout for deadlift, so it should work like a charm. But stay tuned for progress, and you'll see this video in 8 days, and then I'll give you updates on how it's going and how my training's going after that. But thanks for watching. That is the Calaburrito +5s program. Thanks again, Nick, for the program.